Do you want to know why Bonnie Blue's petting zoo has been canceled? At least as far as I know right now, it's still canceled. It's because she must have known that she was going to die. If you don't believe me, something like this has done before, only the premise of it was not nearly as objectifying. You may have seen this comparison before, but this is Marina Abramovic, a Serbian artist who did an art installation in the 1970s where she had a bunch of items laid out on a table, ranging from weapons to feathers to roses, with the premise that anyone could do whatever they wanted to her as long as she stayed still. And do you want to know what they did to her? It started out peaceful and nice, where they would give her a drink of water or hand her a rose, but eventually it began to devolve into more and more violent things. Do you want to know which gender was the culprit for this? You guessed it. Men were cutting clothes off of her. At one point, they were cutting her skin with thorns. Another man cut her neck and then proceeded to suck on the wound. But another took a gun, put it in her hand, and had her hold it to her neck, or to her jaw. Another man smacked her in the face, and when she didn't respond, he smacked her harder. By the end of the experiment, she was bleeding, she was bruised, she was injured, and she was crying. She also stated that she thought that she wasn't raped mostly because the men's wives were there with them. And this was all done under the premise of an artist and an art installation where she is fully clothed and not with a context of any sort of S-work whatsoever. She in no way had the context of objectifying herself, and yet she was still so objectified, dehumanized, and abused. And for Bonnie Blue, we know that the context is that she engages in S-work. This is an S-work coded thing. She tried to call it an art installation. I really don't believe it is, with the context of everything that she does, which was so much more objectifying than the premise of Marina's art piece, and so much more dangerous. What Bonnie Blue was planning was not art, and it stands in direct contrast to the commentary that came out of Marina's art piece. I like what this person said about it. They said this whole performance was meant to explore the concept of control and whether or not people could be trusted when they were given power over someone, over a woman. And by the way, Bonnie Blue did plan this around Father's Day for a reason. She even said so. She said, if you can't find your father, he's probably with me. And you know, maybe it really is a sort of commentary, even if it is not the commentary that she was intending, because she's made it very clear that she's kind of getting back at women for not serving the patriarchy. But really what this just shows is how dangerous and horrible men really are when you give them power. It's because men are women's apex predator. I don't care if this offends anyone, especially the men who say, oh, not all men. I understand. There are some really beautiful, wonderful men in the world. I'm not a misandrist at this point. But the men who get so offended when we call out other men for doing the heinous things that they do, you're really telling on yourself. Because either A, you feel personally attacked because you are engaging in those things, or B, you are not standing up for what's right because it benefits you. It's not easy for men to stand up against other men in the patriarchy. But if you don't have the courage to do it, you're part of the problem.